Child, this man gets so defensive. She's like, this is not the Simon that I knew. Of course not, babes. You didn't know any Simon. What's up, Court Crew, and welcome back to the channel. It's your girl, Courtney Jinean, and I'm back with another video. Today's video is going to be a girl talk chit chat, get ready with me, where I just talk about everything relating to love. I talked about Tinder Swindler, Love is Blind, catfishing in 2022. So if you want to hear any of my thoughts or all of them on those topics, and definitely keep watching. Before we get into it, if this is your first time seeing me here on the YT, hi, my name is Courtney Jinean. I do beauty, fashion, and lifestyle content here on this channel. So definitely subscribe, join the Court Crew family down below, and let's get into today's video. Is going to be a chit chat, get ready with me. I wanted to do this around Valentine's Day, but your girl got caught up. Okay, your girl got caught up, so now I'm just now getting into it. I have already attacked my brows, so we're just gonna go right in. I already did primer as well. I've been loving the Milani Supercharged Dewy Primer and also the e.l.f. Power Grip. I like to mix them too because I like a hydrated face. Okay, but yeah, I haven't done too much of my makeup, but I'm not going to talk about the products that I'm using too much, just as a disclaimer, because I want this to be a chit chat and I already have some topics picked out that we're going to be talking about, so I'm not going to have time to also delve into the makeup products that I am using. But you know, I got y'all, and I will have all the products I used linked down in the description box so you can pick it up, or if you're just interested in what I'm using. But yeah, you guys, let's go ahead and get into this. Like I mentioned, or did I mention? I think I did. Wait, where's my brush? Like, so I mentioned this, but I was planning to do this video around Valentine's Day, but I didn't get around to do it. So all the topics I'm going to be talking about today have to do with dating, love. Also, I've been seeing like a lot of shows that have to do with dating, documentaries, so that's what kind of inspired. Oh, also some TikToks. Girl, so many things that are included in this topic list today. Oh, I look crazy, and this is why I do not like to do, I don't really like to do chit chats, because when I tell you, like, it gets worse before it gets better. Like, it's so, like, what is going on with this color corrector? I swear it works. So let me just blend this out and then I'll get into our first topic.
Tell me the answers. Me and you isn't the answer. Me and you isn't. Maybe I'm telling myself that.
Alright, now that I look a little bit better, okay? Like I mentioned before though, it gets worse before it gets better, period. But anyways, let's get into my first topic, and this is actually about a documentary. It's on Netflix. It has to do with love. Like I mentioned, this February is the month of love, so we're gonna be delving into some topics. But yeah, what was I about to say? Oh yeah, this documentary is called Tinder Swindler. So if you haven't seen it, I am going to leave some timestamps down in, not in the comments, in the description box, just in case you haven't seen. Ooh, child, I'm getting makeup all over. Like, what is going on? Oh, that's gonna make it worse, ain't it? Oh, it's getting worse. Okay, whatever. What was I saying? Oh, the Tinder Swindler. So this is a documentary. I saw it, actually the first time that I saw it, a lot of people were talking about it on my Twitter timeline. They were using like the hashtag for the movie or the documentary, and I was like, what are they talking about? So one day I just literally, I was eating some food. I don't know what I was eating, but I just remember I was like, I want something good to watch. So I was like, people keep on talking about Tinder Swindler, let me put it on. And at first I wasn't really into it, because documentaries, the only documentary that I can say that really captivated me in the first couple of seconds was Fire Festival, because I've never heard of Fire Festival. I've never heard of the Tinder Swindler either, but the Fire Festival, I was just like, what? They did what to these people? But anyways, I started the documentary and it took me a minute to get into it. Like, I paused it a couple times, and people, like, if you know me in real life, one thing about me, I'm a rewatch a show. Like, I love rewatching Vampire Diaries, and it really takes a lot for me to get into a new show. Movies, it's all the same. So like, I knew that if I didn't really vibe with it at first, I would not keep watching, but it hooked me. So if you haven't heard about the Tinder Swindler, essentially it is this guy. I can't remember which country he's from. I believe it's Israel, but I'm not 100% sure. But essentially this guy, literally, he was a scammer his whole life. I think that's important just because the way he went about scamming these women on this dating app, it just seemed like he had to have some practice prior to doing this. Also, you guys, don't even mind this makeup stain. I literally just did it. I cannot believe this. Anyways, so this guy, he's been a scammer his whole life. So he's been scamming in order to kind of maintain this rich lifestyle. And once Tinder came out, he would go on Tinder, match with women in different countries. Like, I believe there's one from Prague, there was one from England, different countries. And he would essentially like match with them the same day. He would be like, let's meet up for dinner tonight. And I don't know if you guys are on dating apps. I am not on dating apps, but when I was, you don't really, like, it's very rare that you match with someone and they're like, let's meet tonight. Like, usually it's a lot of talking and not a lot of action. Very rare that you'll be like, let's go meet out tonight. Like, I feel like that was a red flag. Like, for me, if someone's like, let's meet up tonight, I don't know if I would see it as like, I think I would see it as a red flag more so than like, oh, he know what he wants. I don't know, but these girls didn't think it was a red flag. They was like, okay, let's meet for dinner. Also, I will say that whenever he would reach out to the women, he would be like, let's meet up tonight for dinner. It would be at like the 5-star hotel, which he would say that he was staying at. And once they got to the dinner, it was literally just like love bombing. Like, he would take them to dinner, have them order whatever they want off the menu, essentially, because he's rich, right? He's rich. So these women would be like, oh my gosh, like, he has money. Of course, they would have dinner or whatever like that. Afterwards, they would still keep in contact. So it wasn't like a catfish thing, obviously, because he was in the pictures. Like, he was the guy that he said he was physically. Most of the time when people catfish you, it's more so of like, they don't look like what the pictures they have, or their situation is a little bit different. But this scammer, his name was Simon was like 4 steps ahead of these women. So he would essentially keep up with them most often through like voice notes, texting, through WhatsApp. He would send pictures of him on private jets, on planes, him with his bodyguard, things like that. I can't remember the bodyguard's name, but he's gonna come into play later. It would be about like 2 weeks, I think. The dates I don't really remember like how long, but it wasn't long at all. Like, whether it was 2 weeks or a month that they were talking to this man, what happens next, how he swindled these women, is literally insane. So after like 2 weeks, a month max, Simon would message them and be like, send a picture of his bodyguard with a bloody face. Now, mind you, I said them. So he would literally do this to multiple women. Not at the same time, essentially, like sometimes it would overlap, but for the most part, it would be like he would send the same picture to multiple women at different points in life. So obviously, if he's sending the same photos to these women, it's it's already taken. So he was just like resurfacing these photos to a new woman every single time. So he would circulate, he would send them this, he would send them each a photo of his bodyguard with a bloody head, like beat up. He would also send himself a short video snippet of him in an ambulance. Essentially, that's what it looked like. So I believe that this actually happened to him. It's just the way that he weaved everything together was a whole complete lie. So he would tell them that like his enemies were after him. Who's his enemies? No one knows. He would be like, my enemies are after me, I need 25,000 cash. The amount would change, but it would always be a very hefty amount. And he would always say like, I'll pay you back. And mind you guys, he had already wined and dined these women at 5-star hotels, send them pictures of him on private jets. So they think that this man has money and that they're gonna have a future together. They're gonna be in a relationship, that they're going to be one. So of course, like in their head, I can kind of see where they were coming from, even though like, child, not me. Like, I can see what they were seeing, but like me, like no, it wouldn't be me. It wouldn't be. No, because you can't really say it wouldn't be me, because watch I get scammed. Just kidding. No, I wouldn't. I don't know, but I don't think it would be me, but what I'm saying is I could kind of understand how they were thinking. So he would always be like, I'll pay you back, I need it in cash. Red flag again, because he would essentially say, you know, I can't use cards because my enemy's like, that's a paper trail, I need cash. So he would have these women take out loans for him, and that's where it's crazy. Because I'm sorry, I don't care how much I love you, unless you my kid. If you my kid, okay, but I don't care how much I love you, I ain't taking no loan out for you, especially not for no 25,000. I'm sorry, unless you my kid, but I don't got no kids. So 21, how old am I? I don't even know. Where's literally asked them to take out loans for him, say, oh, I need it in cash. And mind you guys, these women thought that he was gonna pay them back. So when they taking out credit cards and stuff for this man, they are approving the purchases. If the credit card company asks them, they are already saying like, yeah, that's me. So keep that in mind. But then I can't remember all the girls' names. I only remember one of the girls' names, and we'll get into her later. But essentially it was two women who kind of did this documentary. Well, three women, but two were the ones who like first figured out what he was doing. This one girl, she gives him money, like she gives him the credit cards in her name. She took out loans for him. I believe it was 25,000 that she got swindled for. So she would give him the money. A couple weeks go by, she's like, hey, like, you know, they're asking the credit card people, or maybe it was a month, because aren't credit cards like a monthly basis? So she would message him and be like, hey babe, like, emphasis on the babe, because she thought they was together, child. She said, hey babe, like, they asking for the money, like, I think it's time for you to pay up. Like, I don't know, they asking for the money, so maybe you should pay. Child, this man gets so defensive. She's like, this is not the Simon that I knew. Of course not, babes, you didn't know any Simon. So after a couple, like a month goes by, she's like, oh, these people are asking for their money, like, are you able to send me the money now? This man, he gets super duper defensive about everything. Like, Simon is like, I'm gonna give it back to you, I'm gonna give it back to you. And then finally he gives her this check. I think they meet up. I don't think they meet up. He sends her a check, and y'all, of course, he's a scammer, right? Like, the check does not go through. After that, she's like telling him like, hey, like, the check isn't working, like, can you send it again? And he gets super duper defensive and tells her that, like, I sent it, so like there's nothing else I can do. Like, I sent it to you, so that's the money. I'm not about to send you more money when I sent it to you. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And so basically, y'all, what he was doing after that kind of happened to this girl, she went straight to the news, because she was like, she was like, this isn't like, she went to a news outlet and she was like, this is a story, like, this man scammed me out of this much money. I don't want this to happen to anyone else. They team up, two girls team up together because they figured out that, like, he was doing it to both of them. And so they go to the news outlet publishes the story. This third girl, I remember her name because she was smart. Her name is Aileen. She essentially is on a plane. She's still with Simon, like, she's in a relationship with him, and of course she's been swindled too, because she's reading the messages, like, she's reading the article, which includes messages from Simon to the other girls, and the verbiage is all the same. Like, the pictures are the same of him on the jets, the pictures are the same of his bodyguard with the beat up head. Like, it's insane. Like, he was using these old pictures, I don't even know how old, but he was using these pictures to act as if it was recent when it really wasn't. And so she, before the plane is boarding, she literally like messages him the article, and she's like, what's this? She downloads the article. Simon, of course, is like, oh, don't believe that, that's fake, that's fake, my enemies. But she knows that it's real because she's reading the article, and it's having those same pictures, it's having all the stuff about the messages that they would send would be the same. So she kind of is like, I'm gonna swindle the swindler. So she essentially, of course, Simon asked her for money, and she's like, no, I can't help, but she's like, you have all these designer clothes, like, let me sell them. Because she worked I don't know where she works. She works somewhere in like designer labels or something like that, but she was like, I can sell it on eBay. This girl meets up with him, takes all his designer clothes, or as much as he would give her, and she to this day is still selling it on eBay, which I just think is so funny. Like, she really was that girl, because I don't know, like, even when she said that in the documentary, I was like, are we sure those clothes are not fake? But no, they weren't fake. He was living a rich lifestyle just off of these women's money. And so what he would do is take one lady's money and use it on the next lady, use it on their date, and then just keep on going. And I just think that's so crazy. Like, if you've seen the documentary, please let me know like what you think of it, because I just think, I don't know, like, and it's so crazy because I feel like all of us would be like, oh, that could never be me. But I don't know. Like, I really don't know, because he really seemed like if he said my enemies is after him, like, I don't think that's a solid enough reason for me to be like, oh, you need 25,000. I don't know. Like, I don't think I would do that. Like, what? Like, that's just insane. Like, what you talking about your enemies after you? What do you mean? What does that even mean? You need 25K? I'm so sorry, but no. Taking out a loan for you? Like, no, no, no. But it's just crazy. Like, these catfishing stories, everything like that is just insane. I had to talk about the Tinder Swindler, which also kind of leads me into my next point about Catfish. Like, Catfish has been on for so long, and I saw a tweet. I'm always on Twitter, y'all. If y'all don't follow me on Twitter, y'all better follow me on Twitter. I saw a tweet where this girl was like, who is still getting catfish in 2022? And although I do not know how these people are still getting catfish in 2022, but when I tell you the episodes are still hitting, like, the episodes are still hitting. I am in my seat. I'm seated. I'm seated for Catfish every time it comes on. Like, the episodes still be giving. So yes, I am still watching Catfish in 2022, but I don't understand. And honestly, I will say that the newer episodes of Catfish, I do feel like the people who are getting catfish, they haven't been talking to that person or that significant other for as long as like the past, like, earlier seasons. Like, it'd be like, oh, we've been talking for 3 months, and or it'll be something like the pandemic, like it'll be like 6 months or 9 months. Like, they started talking during the pandemic, and now that like things are slowly opening back up, it's like, okay, why aren't we meeting? Why aren't we doing this? But yeah, also on different shows, I don't know if you guys like reality TV. I love reality TV. I want to be on reality TV one day. I have like a couple shows. I would actually go on this next show that I'm talking about. I feel like I would go on this show, and I also would go on The Circle. The Circle is a reality show that I definitely could see myself going on. The show that I want to talk about is called Love is Blind. It is a reality show. This is the second season, so I'm gonna be talking about the second season, but essentially, if you haven't seen it, it is basically where there's a group of couples, and well, no, there's like, I can't even remember like the number of singles that come, but there's like a group of singles who, like, even amounts of guys and girls, and they talk to each other. Like, it's essentially a dating show, but you can't see them. Like, you can't see who you're talking to. Like, the girls can see each other, and the guys can see each other, but girls cannot see the guy that they're talking to. The girls like all room together, the guys all room together, but girls and the guys cannot meet. So essentially, you're dating so many different people, but also at the same time, you're not able to see them. And it's testing that theory that love is blind. The first season was really, really good. I feel like, I think 2 out of the 4 couples or 5 couples that were highlighted are still together from season 1. Now, season 2 is a hot mess, okay? And I, like, it's crazy because I'm actually living for it. Like, I'm so sorry, but I'm kind of here for it. So I mentioned before, there's a number of different singles, and they all come together, date each other and things like that. This season there was a lot of overlap. I fear like there was a lot of folks who had runner-ups in terms of like who they were interested in marrying, because you don't continue on the show if you don't have a fiance. And apparently there were more engaged couples after this season, but they only chose to follow 4 or 5, I can't remember how, but yeah, which I thought was interesting because there's one. Let's talk about the worst couple. They're all pretty bad though. Like honestly, I literally saw a TikTok the other day where it was like, how is anyone rooting for anyone in this season of Love is Blind? And I am, but honestly I agree that this season was a hot mess. First couple I want to talk about is Shayna and Kyle. So Shayna and Kyle, and this is where it goes into like, it's great, like it's great for people to watch just because you kind of realize, okay, what things are you unable to compromise in a relationship? And as soon as I saw this couple, I was like, this couple is not going to work out because they disagreed on religion. And I feel like religion is something that like you have to be equally yoked. Like I feel like religion is something that you cannot compromise on. And I think that what makes this couple unique is Kyle is an atheist and Shayna is a Christian. And I think that like, I don't know if I feel like if Kyle was Muslim or if he was Baptist or if he was Jewish, if it would have been as bad as it is that he's atheist versus Shayna being Christian, or even if it was, yeah, like it's just like he doesn't believe in anything. So it's just they're not able to see eye to eye. And it's not even like that, it's like Shayna views religion as so important to her, and Kyle kind of sees this as like it's not that deep. But it is that deep for her because she sees religion as an important part while he doesn't. And that's not gonna work. And obviously it's not gonna work because they have broken up already and the finale didn't even air. The next couple that I want to talk about is Mallory and Sal. They are really cute together. I think that they are cute together. I don't really like Mallory. Jared was interested in both Mallory and also Ayana, and since Mallory essentially was like, no, I have a stronger connection to Sal, Jared kind of took a little bit of time to himself, and then he was like, okay, let me propose to Ayana. So that's where it gets tricky, right? Because if you knew that your boo, your fiance, and he did, I will say that he did let her know that like, oh, I did ask Mallory, you know, if I proposed, would she say yes? And she said no. And it seemed like he took some time to himself, essentially, because they didn't have much time before their kind of time together wrapped. It was either like you get engaged or you're not moving on. He asked her to marry him and she said yes. And I do see how like people are like, why would you want to be with someone that literally told you that you were their second option? And I get that, but I do feel like, I don't know, there's something about Jared and Ayana that I really do like. I do see what people are saying that like, you were the second choice. But I do think that they really complement each other, and I think that they would flourish if they got married. Now I don't know if they're gonna get married. We'll see in the finale, and it's gonna be interesting once the finale comes out if I'm like correct in what I think. But yeah, I kind of can see them working out. And even when they were doing like the little dress shopping for the bride, Ayana was accompanied by Jared's sister, which I thought was really cool. And it's also interesting that all the singles are from Chicago. Even like the first season, they were all from the same city and they never met each other. I feel like that's kind of weird. But yeah, who else is in this? Oh, I think the only other person is, no, there's 2 other. Like I mentioned before, this season was like crazy in terms of like just so many people being in love with each other. It's just a mess. We also have another couple who, this was a mess, okay? So this next couple is Shane and Natalie. And it's essentially kind of the same thing that I was talking about with Mallory and Jared and Ayana, that 4 square thing. With this, Shane and Natalie, they were like each other's #1, or at least that's how it seemed. But one day Natalie comes into the pods, like I mentioned before, y'all, they cannot see each other, and Natalie comes in and Shane thinks it's Shayna. So like I mentioned before, the first couple is Kyle and Shayna. They didn't work out, but Natalie and Shane are still together, and Natalie comes in. Shane thinks it's Shayna, so he's like, hey, like acting like that's his number one and all this stuff, and Natalie's like, no, it's Natalie. So they get into a huge fight about that, and I honestly think that Shayna and Shane, I feel like, are more of each other's type. Like Shane is a white male, and what's her name, Natalie, is Asian American. She really found him attractive, but actually he found her attractive too. He was like, she's beautiful. So I love that. But I feel like, again, it's similar to like Ayana and Jarrett. Although I feel like Shayna and Shane would be a really good match, I think that Natalie and Shane make a cute match too. And it's like, it's just, I don't know what they're gonna choose if they get married or not. Crew, and that wraps up today's chit chat. Get ready with me. I didn't even touch on all of the topics that I wanted to, so if you want to see a part 2, definitely let me know, because I have a lot more that I wanted to discuss. But your girl got hooked on the Tinder Swindler and Love is Blind, and I couldn't even get into the rest of the judge. But yeah, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this little chit chat. Get ready with me. If you enjoyed this girl talk chit chat, get ready with me, then definitely give it a big thumbs up so I know to do more of these types of videos on my channel. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Check back for another video or watch another video, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.
I could give you satisfaction, and you know we out here every day with it. I'ma show you how to get it.